2020 National Electrical Code does not specifically address the use of multiple switch control in a room with multiple entrances or exits. The 1987 edition of the American Electrician's Handbook referenced a requirement for multiple switch control in the NEC but did not provide a specific section number. However, a similar requirement existed in the 1978 NEC, which stated in section 380.14 where a room has more than one entrance or exit, at least one wall-mounted switch or controlling device shall be provided at each entrance or exit for permanently wired fixtures. While there is no explicit requirement in the current NEC, the principle of providing convenient and accessible control of lighting remains valid. The code requires light outlets to be controlled by a switch located within the room or space they serve, which is NEC section 404.2. In a room with multiple entrances or exits, this may require the use of multiple switch control to ensure that lighting can be turned on and off conveniently from all entrances. The builder's contention that one switch meets code may not be accurate. While a single switch may provide control of the lighting, it may not be considered convenient or accessible from all entrances and exits. The NEC emphasizes safety and usability, and multiple switch control can enhance both by providing convenient and accessible control of lighting. It is recommended to install multiple switch control in a room with multiple entrances or exits to ensure convenient and accessible control of lighting. This is consistent with the historical interpretation of the NEC and promotes safety and usability. When designing or inspecting electrical installations, understanding the intent and historical context of the National Electrical Code is crucial, even when specific requirements are not explicitly stated in the current edition. The absence of a direct mandate does not negate the importance of adhering to established safety principles and ensuring user convenience. Firstly, it's essential to recognize that electrical codes are designed to provide a baseline for safety and functionality. They are regularly updated to reflect advancements in technology and evolving safety standards. The fact that the 2020 NEC doesn't explicitly reiterate the 1978 NEC requirement for multiple switches at each entrance doesn't automatically render the practice unnecessary or non-compliant. Secondly, the principle of convenient access to lighting control is implicitly supported by NEC section 404.2, which mandates that lighting outlets be controlled by a switch within the room or space they serve. This provision underscores the importance of user accessibility and ease of operation. In practical terms, this means that if a single switch is located far from one entrance, it may not satisfy the intent of the code, especially in larger rooms or those with multiple entry points. Thirdly, consider the potential safety implications of relying on a single switch. In emergency situations or when navigating a dark room, having multiple readily accessible switches can significantly reduce the risk of accidents. A person entering a room from one entrance might need to walk a considerable distance in the dark to reach the only switch, increasing the likelihood of tripping or colliding with objects. Fourthly, the historical context of the NEC requirement, as seen in the 1978 edition, provides valuable insight into the rationale behind multiple switch control. The fact that previous editions explicitly mandated switches at each entrance demonstrates a long-standing concern for user convenience and safety. While the current NEC may not explicitly state the same requirement, it's reasonable to infer that the underlying principles remain relevant. Fifthly, when discussing code compliance with builders or contractors, it's essential to focus on the intent and overall objectives of the NEC. Instead of rigidly interpreting the absence of a specific requirement as permission to install a single switch, emphasize the importance of providing a safe and user-friendly lighting system. Explain how multiple switches enhance convenience and reduce potential hazards. Sixthly, consider the specific layout and usage patterns of the room in question. In some cases, a single switch may be adequate, particularly in small rooms with a single entrance. However, in larger rooms with multiple entry points, multiple switches are generally necessary to ensure convenient access to lighting control from all entrances. Assess the potential inconvenience and safety implications of relying on a single switch, and make a recommendation based on the specific circumstances. Seventhly, it may be helpful to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or code official to obtain an interpretation of the NEC requirements in your local jurisdiction. Code interpretations can vary depending on local regulations and enforcement practices. Seeking guidance from an authority having jurisdiction can help ensure compliance and resolve any ambiguities in the code. Eighthly, remember that the NEC is not intended to be a design manual. It provides minimum safety standards, but it doesn't dictate the best or most appropriate design for every situation. Electrical designers and installers have a responsibility to go beyond the minimum requirements of the code and provide installations that are safe, functional, and convenient for the end users. Ninthly, when specifying multiple switch control, consider the different types of switching arrangements available. Three-way switches are commonly used to control a light from 2 locations, while four-way switches can be added to control a light from 3 or more locations. Choose the appropriate switching arrangement based on the number of entrances and the desired level of control. Tenthly, ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified and licensed electricians who are familiar with the NEC and local codes. Improperly installed wiring or switching devices can create safety hazards and lead to code violations. Always prioritize safety and ensure that all electrical work is performed in accordance with applicable regulations. The 2020 National Electrical Code, despite not explicitly mandating multiple switch control in rooms with multiple entrances or exits, implicitly supports the principle of providing convenient and accessible lighting control. By considering the historical context of the NEC, the potential safety implications, and the specific layout of the room, it's generally recommended to install multiple switches to ensure that lighting can be easily turned on and off from all entrances. Consulting with electrical inspectors and prioritizing safety are essential when interpreting and applying the NEC requirements. Let us delve more into the technical aspects of implementing multiple switch control, specifically focusing on three-way and four-way switch configurations. These configurations are essential for achieving convenient lighting control in rooms with multiple entrances or exits, as they allow a single light fixture to be operated from multiple locations. Understanding the wiring and operation of these switches is crucial for ensuring safe and effective installation. Firstly, let's examine the three-way switch configuration. A three-way switch, despite its name, has 3 terminals, a common terminal, and 2 traveler terminals. These switches are always used in pairs to control a light fixture from 2 different locations. The key to understanding the operation of a three-way switch is the concept of travelers. The 2 traveler terminals on each switch are connected to each other via 2 separate wires called traveler wires. These wires carry the current between the 2 switches, allowing either switch to interrupt or complete the circuit to the light fixture. When one switch is flipped, it changes the path of the current through the traveler wires, either turning the light on or off, depending on the position of the other switch. The wiring of a three-way switch circuit is as follows. Firstly, the power source, typically a 120 volts or 277 volt circuit, is connected to the common terminal of one of the three-way switches. Secondly, the 2 traveler terminals of this switch are connected to the 2 traveler terminals of the other three-way switch using the traveler wires. Thirdly, the common terminal of the second three-way switch is connected to the light fixture. Finally, the neutral wire from the power source is connected directly to the light fixture to complete the circuit. It is important to note that the ground wire should also be connected to all switches and the light fixture for safety. Secondly, let's explore the 4-way switch configuration. A 4-way switch is used in conjunction with 2 3-way switches to control a light fixture from 3 or more locations. A 4-way switch has 4 terminals, 2 input terminals and 2 output terminals. The key to understanding the operation of a 4-way switch is that it either connects the 2 input terminals directly to the 2 output terminals, or it crosses them over, effectively swapping the connections. This allows the 4-way switch to change the path of the current through the traveler wires, enabling the light fixture to be controlled from multiple locations. The wiring of a 4-way switch circuit is as follows. Firstly, the power source is connected to the common terminal of one of the 3-way switches, as in the 3-way switch configuration. Secondly, the 2 traveler wires from this 3-way switch are connected to the 2 input terminals of the 4-way switch. Thirdly, the two output terminals of the four-way switch are connected to the two traveler terminals of the second three-way switch. Finally, the common terminal of the second three-way switch is connected to the light fixture, and the neutral wire is connected directly to the light fixture to complete the circuit. When multiple four-way switches are used to control a light fixture from more than 3 locations, they are wired in series, with the traveler wires passing through each four-way switch in turn. Each four-way switch either connects the traveler wires straight through or crosses them over, allowing the light fixture to be controlled from any of the switch locations. Thirdly, when installing three-way and four-way switches, it is crucial to follow proper wiring techniques and safety precautions. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical wiring. Secondly, use properly sized wires and connectors that are rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit. Thirdly, ensure that all connections are tight and secure to prevent loose wires, which can cause arcing and overheating. Fourthly, label all wires clearly to avoid confusion during installation and troubleshooting. Fifthly, test the circuit after installation to ensure that the switches are functioning correctly and that there are no shorts or open circuits. Fourthly, let's discuss some common troubleshooting issues that may arise with three-way and four-way switch configurations. Firstly, if the light fixture does not turn on at all, check the power source, the light bulb, and the wiring connections to ensure that everything is properly connected and functioning. Secondly, if the light fixture only turns on from one switch location, check the traveler wires and the four-way switches to ensure that they are properly connected and that there are no broken or loose wires. Thirdly, if the light fixture flickers or turns on and off intermittently, check the wiring connections for loose wires or corrosion. Fourthly, if the switches feel hot to the touch, this may indicate a loose connection or an overloaded circuit. Turn off the power to the circuit immediately and investigate the cause of the overheating. Fifthly, when troubleshooting three-way and four-way switch configurations, it is helpful to use a multimeter to test the voltage and continuity of the wires and switches. This can help identify broken or loose wires, faulty switches, and other potential problems. Understanding the technical aspects of three-way and four-way switch configurations is essential for implementing multiple switch control in rooms with multiple entrances or exits. By following proper wiring techniques, safety precautions, and troubleshooting procedures, you can ensure that these configurations are installed correctly and function safely and effectively. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical wiring or installation. In summary, while the NEC may not explicitly mandate multiple switch control, the principles of safety, convenience, and accessibility support the installation of three-way and four-way switch configurations in rooms with multiple entrances or exits. By understanding the wiring, operation, and troubleshooting of these configurations, you can provide safe and effective lighting control for your customers or your own home.